Okay, welcome everyone. Good afternoon. We're super happy to have you with us in the African Food System Forum Culinary Village. I think for me, this is the most important part of any forum talking about food, is where the food comes to the plate in delicious flavors, delicious smells, delicious, nutritious offerings that we can then put together. Often in our around the world, we gather around tables, around meals, on the floor, on the table, in different places, and we gather around food, and food connects us. And so at the Food System Forum, we have over 5,000 people from around the world, and we all have favorite foods that we bring. And together we can celebrate and engage and also learn about how we can accelerate outcomes. And the forum is all about innovating, accelerating, and scaling. And I think to me, this is a powerful call to action. We have lots of challenges in our food system around the world to address. And so we need to see that innovation, those new ideas, but we also need to move faster, because as everything speeds up, the impacts are really important to see now. And then we need scale. It's fine to have good little things happening everywhere, but they also need to reach everyone, reach the furthest behind, make sure that we're seeing that scale. And so I think for me, this is really important. I'm going to be hosting on this stage for the next few days. So we're going to be here from 12 to 2. We're going to have a range of guests. We have a number of chefs coming in from different parts of the world. There's going to be some cheering for country favorites. At the moment, I feel the Nigerians are winning. They've been here setting up shop. So yeah, we have a Nigerian fan club here, which is good. So we've got some different chefs from across the continent, and then a series of experts as well, who are going to be talking to us and sharing some of their knowledge and connecting it to how do we deliver sustainable, nutritious, climate-friendly meals on a plate. And so it's going to be absolutely amazing. The Chef's Manifesto is a network of chefs that connect to the SDGs in over 120 countries around the world. And these chefs have given their time to come here. They're here to help connect and to engage. And so we're going to start off our program with Dr. Roy Steiner, who is the Managing Director of the Food Initiative at the Rockefeller Foundation. He's also on the board of AGRA. That's right. I got that right. He's been a champion for sustainable development and innovation in food systems for many years, and he's got incredible insights from all of his work around the world around how do we innovate, how do we accelerate and scale our efforts. So please come and join me and put your hands together for Dr. Roy Steiner.
Thank you.
We'll get it. It'll come.
Thank you so much. It's so wonderful to be here, especially surrounded by chefs. As I think all of you know, our current food system is actually in a bit of a crisis. You know, something like 80% of the world suffers from some sort of metabolic condition because of the kind of food we're eating, the food we're growing in such a way that really damages the environment. But the key is to transition to, I think, this theme of diversity. And I love that, we've got to bring the incredible diversity that this earth has given us to bear on these challenges. It's interesting that we don't even know what's in our food. We measure less than 1% of the molecules in our food. We use less than 2% of the biological diversity of the edible species on this planet. And we need to increase that diversity, because we know when we eat diverse foods, we're healthier. But in order to get diverse foods into people's diet, they need to taste better, and they need to taste delicious, and it can be done. And the key to that is great culinary expertise. And one of the reasons I love the Chef's Manifesto and the work you're doing is that you're really bringing to bear the beauty of the culinary world to expanding diversity and bringing that to all of us. So with that, I'm going to hand
No, I'm going to ask you one more question.
Oh, okay.
There's one more question. So in terms of innovating, accelerating, and scaling, what are some of the things that Rockefeller are putting interest and attention to? What are you guys talking about here?
It starts with really understanding our food composition. So we're investing in something called the periodic table of food that's expanding our understanding of what's actually in our food. It's incredible We are learning so much that we had no idea about. We're also spending a lot of time on food as medicine. Turns out that you can solve many diseases just with food. So that is a key to the future health of humanity. So that's very exciting. And then creating regenerative school meals, which I think my colleague Betty will be talking about. But I'm very excited by that and the ability to feed the next generation.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Roy. And before you go, I'm going to do a quick, this is the first part of the event. So we're going to do a selfie with everyone. So we're going to send this out and we'll let people know they should be here every day. But we're going to get everyone in. No, we'll do one this way because otherwise the social team will kill me. Are you guys excited? You can put your hands higher. Perfect.
All right.
Okay, well, thank you. And we're looking forward to seeing what we can get into.
Ooh, it looks delicious. I can't wait. I'm going to steal one. No, I'm not.
Thank you. Thank you. So today we're going to be exploring through climate-friendly actions that support both people and planet. And so we're going to be talking a little bit about something that's very close to my heart, which is beans. Beans are nutritious, delicious, and climate-friendly. And 2 years ago, here in Kigali, we announced a campaign called Beans is How. And it's an ambitious campaign to double the consumption of beans, peas, and lentils around the world by 2028. And so we're in the second year of this, and there's a growing community of organizations that are talking about beans, that are showcasing beans. We're having beans on the menu, where chefs are putting bean dishes in restaurants around the world. This year will be the second year in New York during Climate Week. We've just done a big push in Nairobi, doing bean-based burgers across the whole of Nairobi. There's lots of different initiatives. And we're looking at different types of beans. We're looking at high iron beans. We'll talk about that with some bean experts a bit later. And so we believe that we need solutions which are accessible to people, that are easy to make the connection. And so we see that beans can be one of the ways. And so in our segment today, we're going to be talking a little bit about that. We're going to also be talking a little bit about school meals. And school meals is something that's really critical. During COVID, we saw... Okay, this is better. Sorry, everyone. Just interlude music. Talk to... No. So during COVID, we saw the impact of schools closing and people missing out on these vital school meals. And since then, the School Meals Coalition that was established during the UN Food System Summit has had many countries commit, many organizations commit, and a big scale up, and we'll talk a bit about that. And so we're going to be talking and showcasing for you a bit of a School Meals Bean Innovation Challenge. And so we've given some of the chefs a challenge to feature high iron beans. So these are beans that have been bred by the team at AGRA, at CJR, to have higher iron. And so these beans are a good choice because if people have anemia issues or anything like this, they can help address that. So we're going to be showcasing how we use this nutritious ingredient as a game changer in the fight against malnutrition. And we're going to be hearing from nutritionists and some of the team at AGRA around this as well. But let me introduce our chefs first, who are helping put beans on the menu. So we have Chef Pinky from South Africa. Is anyone here from South Africa? We've got somebody from South... You're going to have to speak very loudly for Chef Pinky. And so Chef Pinky, and I'll get you to come over. You haven't got your mic yet. Claude, have you got your mic? Yeah. Let me introduce Chef Claude. So Chef Claude is here. Chef Claude, you're an incredible food advocate with the Chef's Manifesto, and you've been working here from Kigali. And you've done a lot of work around school feeding, actually. You send me photos. Chef Claude is always sending me images of him out advocating and doing things, but he's worked with the World Food Program here in Rwanda. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've brought here? And then I'll come across to Chef Pinky.
Today, the main word is beans. Now some people must be happy.
Just 1 second. We've got no one on the sound desk. We're almost there. Okay, perfect. Try now.
Okay, too loud. My name is Claude, aka Chef Claude. passionate about culinary arts, passionate about manifesto, Chef Manifesto, what it stands for, the different thematic area, particularly how to reduce food waste, but also support local farmers by using local ingredients. Today, world, I know some people will be happy, beans is the magic word today. Beans, so we have plenty beans today. So I made a bean sauce, like a dip, served with a salad with red cabbage and chives. Then I made, because locally we use a lot of banana, so I made a banana croquette crusted with iron beans.
Okay.
Yeah, so I hope you're gonna like it.
Well, I'm going to give you some time. I'm going to say hello to Chef Pinky, and then I'm going to invite a couple of guests, and then we're going to come and check on your cooking.
Thank you.
We need to leave you some space. So, Chef Pinky, how are you?
I'm black and beautiful.
Does anyone agree? I think they do.
I think they do.
Need we say any more?
Yeah, I'm black and beautiful and I'm dark and lovely.
So, Chef Pinky, you've come here from South Africa.
Yes.
You're a food advocate with the Chef's Manifesto, but you also do a number of other things. Tell us a little bit what you've brought here and what you're excited about here.
Okay, so I am excited about making sure that, you know, we get our food system sustainable. So, and how are we going to do it? It's not just about one person. It's a cycle. It's for everybody. So I am, Chef's Manifesto is the part of this food system, because remember, chefs are a bridge that, you know, that gap, that bridges farm to fork. So what I usually do, I empower chefs to know and give them the resources about food wastage, about sustainable crops. And you know, people always think that, you know, plant-based, there's no flavor. It's bland. So I am Madame Flavor. So I make sure that they know that, listen, you don't have to feel guilty serving that chicken. You can serve any plant power, you know, ingredient, but with impact of flavor. And people like to relate to food. So what I usually do, I like to take top dishes. So the dish that I'm doing today, it is a dish from Rwanda. So probably those who are from Rwanda would know it. I don't know how to pronounce, but I think it is ubombe. Am I right? Who's from Rwanda? Ubombe, so eggplant. How do you pronounce it? Eggplant. Yeah, so I'll be infusing eggplant and the red kidney beans to make you know, a sustainable, filling and nutritious meals for kids.
Great. This is exciting. I can't wait to taste. We have somebody from Rwanda that's coming on stage in just a minute. So we'll ask them to give an approval on your dish.
Yeah, my accent is not that right.
This is great. Well, I'm going to let you get prepping. I know it's always hard to talk and cook at the same time.
Sure.
So I'm going to now invite two guests up onto stage. So joining us is going to be Betty Kabar from the Rockefeller Foundation, who is an absolute champion for nutritious school meals. And then Jean-Claude Rubiago, the Bean Program Leader and Director at PABRA, the Africa Food Prize winner from last year as well. And so he is a bean advocate and is going to be coming to talk to us about some of the research. And so both of you, we have a mic. Do we have one more mic? I have one here. We can maybe share, we'll see. But let me start. Betty, I'm going to start with you. It's great to have you here. You're the Director of the Food Institute at the Rockefeller Foundation. You're also a member of the Science and Innovation Council for the Beans is How campaign. So you've been involved in this campaign right from the beginning. You've been advocating for incorporating fortified foods into school meals, but also thinking a lot about beans. And so can you share a little bit why high iron beans in particular are so important for child nutrition, and how do they fit into your broader strategy of improving school meals across the continent?
Thanks, Paul, and it's a pleasure coming back here again. we were here the other year. And before I answer your question, I want to tell you a childhood story.
Okay, please.
I grew up in Eastern Kenya, and there's one meal which we ate every day.
Yes.
It was maize and beans, which was called githeri. And sometimes my mom would leave us to cook the food. And you know what happened?
What?
We had to use firewood. And when you use firewood, you have to really pay attention to the food. Otherwise, if you disappear and you go playing, the beans will not cook well. And many times I was beaten at night because when my mom came home, we went to play and the beans did not cook well. But I'm very excited about the high iron bean because first is a good bean. It does, it cooks very well, and the cooking time actually reduces by 50%. It's good for the children. So for the children, they're able to eat a healthier diet. And then we have also done a lot of work in terms of looking at the high iron beans and sorghum as a meal. And I hope Chef can also try this. So back to your question. School feeding programs are very, very important. And in Africa, we have about 65 million learners who are on school feeding programs. And even though our focus is on increasing access, we cannot just focus on increasing the quantity, but we have to focus on quality. And that's why tonight we are going to be launching the fortified whole grain. And I know we are talking about the bean. But then for the bean, we know that bean, for example, for the school feeding program, governments love it, the kids love it, because first it's a meal that doesn't cost much.
Yeah.
Governments allocate about $0.35 per day per child. So what can you buy with that? You can buy a bean meal and maybe maize and rice. So for government, it's a good product. For the children, it's a good product. But for the farmer, it's also a very good product because the high iron beans, as my colleague here is going to talk about, it increases productivity by 20%. That means more profit to the farmers. And then it's also good for the environment. For example, we are talking about regenerative agriculture. When you plant bean this season, 1 hectare of beans, and then you harvest, you remove the bean, it actually leaves an equivalent of 40 kilograms, equivalent of nitrogen.
Wow.
So that means the subsequent crops, you're going to use less input.
Yep.
So for the climate, it's also good. We also have, for the businesses, we are making a very good business case for, we just had the launch of the ASR report. And there are some businesses that the Rockefeller Foundation is also working with. One of it being Farm Fresh here in Rwanda, that are also innovating around the beans. They are pre-cooking the beans so that we don't get the same problem we had those days when we were growing up. The beans are pre-cooked for school feeding programs, and when they are pre-cooked, it means they'll take, you just need to add a little bit of water and hot water, and the bean is ready. So, and we have also seen some of those companies like Farm Fresh benefiting from the carbon market because they're also using renewable energy.
We have some of them. I was looking over there because there is some beans down there.
This is called it's an electric cooker that is using induction cooking. So as we think about school feeding programs, 90% of the schools actually use firewood. And as we are talking about climate change, carbon emissions, we need to start reducing.
Yeah.
And clean cooking, like what you're seeing here, is one good opportunity. The biggest challenge we have now, these are available for the consumer market and household, but they are not available for school feeding programs. You can also check one of our, the booth for the Rockefeller Foundation, you will see an output. So as we think about the bean, it's not just about the bean, it's the quality of the bean, which is the high iron bean, but it's also the way we prepare and the innovations around the beans. We also have other companies that are doing, for example, the bean flour and bean cookies, and I think we get to sample some of them. So very excited. In Africa, we are working in 3 countries. We are working in Tanzania, learners are consuming high iron beans.
Amazing.
And Rwanda actually is leading, with a lot of maybe more than 25% of the
Absolutely.
beans which are consumed in this country are high iron beans.
Yeah. No, well, thank you. I mean, thank you, Betty. And I think high iron beans for me, not only, they have this nutrition, so is this a benefit for people. They've got the planetary, so you're talking about nitrogen, you're talking about that. But then we're also looking at the climate impacts in terms of the cooking. And I know Harvest, there is a Harvest, no, not Harvest Plus, the pre-cooked beans from Rwanda. Farm fresh. We have some of them down here, the packets, so we can show them. But these are also, taking into account cost effectiveness, because otherwise you're buying firewood, you're also trying to do that. And so last time we were here in Rwanda, we visited them, and they're a great brand that's doing this and using the high iron beans, but making them convenient as well. And so they're getting carbon credits for schools because of the firewood save. And so it's amazing. But the chefs, when we took chefs there, they said it's like sous vide. So they were like, the flavor and the nutrient levels are kept into the bag. So it's kind of really interesting. So if you want to learn more about them, I'm sure you can talk to.
Paul, can I just add
Yeah.
maybe just one more?
Yeah.
A lot of people refuse to eat beans because they give them a lot of gas.
Yeah.
But I can assure you that the high iron beans doesn't give gas.
Yeah.
That's one. And then one of the limiting challenge was the price of the bean.
Yeah.
Was very high for the consumer market. But over time, for example, in Kenya, we are seeing the prices coming down because supply is going up.
Yep.
And then the supermarkets are beginning to stock them. For example, if you go to Kenya Carrefour supermarket,
You're finding
and
them.
the price points are always the same. So I
Yep.
think this would be a good way to encourage consumers to consume the high iron bean.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Betty. And I can start smelling. Everyone's starting to get aromas coming. So we're gonna go to you, JC. JC, Barbara's been leading the research on high iron beans. What goes into developing beans, and how does that impact happen? So as a scientist, when somebody told me that you breed beans, I was like, what is this? I need to understand. But help me understand what's some of the work that goes in, but also the impact.
Thanks, Paul. Yeah, just maybe, again, a small story like what Betty talked about. So it's always good to lead a program which you are passionate about. I'm in London, where the consumption of beans is maybe 100 and above grams per day, around 30 kilograms per year per capita. But at the same time, I eat beans daily. How many of you eat beans daily? Oh, great! So I'm not the only one. So he's asking me the question, what goes in to get these beans? So usually people consume beans, but they don't differentiate them. So starting from 2004 and 5, we start looking what can we add to the beans we consume. So the concept of high iron and zinc came in because of deficiency in iron, anemia, but zinc is also very, very useful for our immunity and others as well. So we start looking on how we enhance the iron concentration. And this is, we're not talking about GMOs. It's just making the normal process. But then, outside people think, yes, why don't you cross and you get it? No. In addition to iron and zinc, that beans must be palatable. Because people are not eating tablets. They eat the food they enjoy. So you need to look at palatability. But also there's somebody who grows that beans. That is a farmer. Unless farmer is incentivized. Otherwise you not grow beans. She will not grow beans. So you need to incentivize the farmer too, to give them incentive. And one way to incentivize them is increasing productivity, the yield. They need cash. They need enough food. So in that case, you look at also climate resilience. So if you have high on beans, which is not highly productive, you have enough time to sell to the farmer who produces the beans. So climate resilience, disease and pest, that is a must-have. And then you add high iron and beans, and palatability too. So once the farmer is happy and the consumer is happy, and they have high iron, then you have great product. But also you need to show the consumer that iron and zinc is highly important. So we did a study here in Rwanda, between 2010 and 2016, does consumption of beans increasing iron levels, hemoglobin in the blood? So that was done. And 2016 we published, yes, you can, if people eat normal beans with the rice, and beans with the high iron, which is around 77 ppm as well. So you can easily increase the hemoglobin to the students who are eating beans for 6 months. That was proven. So if you eat beans with the high iron, you can, people who usually, you have also seen in Kenya, in Bomet County, where women used to eat soils and rocks. So when we're introducing Yota, which she knows very well, women stop eating that soil. So that is the real, that's science. So what we did is harness that potential. And second, we found that people who eat these beans with the high iron increase their physical power. So because majority of people in the farms may be women. So they need, again, to have at least energy, physical energy to carry the work.
Yeah.
So our science is able to really add value to see how the beans we eat can be value added. And recently, what Betty was talking about, we have started breeding for short cooking time. We believe we can have pre-cooked beans, but not everybody can afford. The majority of our consumers in rural area, even in urban, they still depend on biomass energy. So biomass energy, in the next years, some governments are saying, well, no charcoal by 2030, no biomass energy by 2030. But many people will not have that capacity. So what we are doing is the reduction of cooking time by genetic innovation. We are almost there, 50%. Now we can reduce another 3 hours, 1 hour and a half to 1 hour. So that again is another innovation. What also we have started looking at is the factor which the consumer has better say.
Yeah.
You eat beans, you say, wow, what have I eaten? The stomach goes dry. So we are also trying to address that as well, the polyphenols and the other sugars, the polysaccharides, which we are giving some program to the consumer. So that in the next years we will have high iron beans, climate resilient, definitely for the farmer, good for the consumer, good for the farmer, and also good for the planet, as Betty indicated, which can increase nitrogen. So there's a lot of research, but once also you get that variety, it has to go to the farmer. You build the seed systems in order to get the variety to the farmer. So, and then we also have to work with the food technologies to bring the pre-cooked beans. So there's a lot of work and research which happens to get that product which is on the table. Asante sana.
Thank you, thank you. And I love it when you talk, JC, you're so passionate about beans as well. So, for me, this really highlights, the more I've learned about beans and the work going into this science, as the world keeps changing faster, for us to keep up, we need to keep investing in science. And so groups like the CGIAR that JC is a part of, and the networks that have investment in scientists, sometimes it feels like it's that far away work, But this is helping us adapt. It's helping the farmers adapt. And so we need to increase the investment. We need to increase the work so that we're getting these innovations quicker out. Then we need to, as you were talking, Betty, about bringing business in as well. We need to be working with those businesses and getting this out into institutions for scale through school meals so that we can get this work together. And so to me, it's about seeing how the system, and so this is a food system forum, not a food forum, or not this is about systems work. And it's about connecting those dots and seeing how things come together. And so hopefully you're also meeting people that you can work with and be part of that system. I'm going to come to our chefs because are we ready to taste some food?
We're ready.
Okay, I think, Pinky, I'm going to come across here and then we're going to come to you, okay?
Sure.
But Chef Claude, so talk through what we have. And I want to get Betty and JC to taste, but then maybe we can send some down to some people.
So it's a double bean.
Over here, guys. Betty, JC, come. We need to see what this is.
So we have a double beans dish.
Double beans.
I'm sure Jean-Claude is happy with that. So I have a bean dip, which is mixed beans. Season it well with some onions, garlic, and blend it. Then I had a little salad there with red cabbage and chives. Then I made a croquette of kitoki, green banana, crusted with iron-rich beans. So the idea was to respect the culture here. It's a staple food. green banana and beans, and most time it's eaten as a stew. But this I wanted to showcase that you can have it like could be like a starter, or so it can be used in
Yes, I need you
functions,
to fill
cocktail
this.
functions, and so on.
Okay.
So please enjoy. Yes,
We'll get you a fork. Maybe you
We'll
guys
get you
can
a
share
fork
one,
and-
and then Claude, we can send the other down.
sure. Thank you.
I mean, do the first.
Yeah, and then
Good.
send one
in the
down.
middle, yeah? Lots?
Can we steal some?
Yes.
Yeah. So the idea is
I want to
make
hear
it-
what you think.
No?
We need
You
to
want to
know
make
from the
beans-
bean experts if the beans are appropriate. What do you think, JC?
Fantastic. Wow.
Okay, we're going to send some around as well.
And this can be also like
Have
a
you got any more
family-
to share, Claude, or
Yes,
are you
I do.
keeping
We
it
have
to
a lot.
yourself?
I don't know about plate. Well, we can.
We need a plate, Karen.
But this is easy to make. It could be like family activities at home.
Thank you.
And you try different
Chef?
things. Sure.
Maybe cut up. Okay, Betty, you'd like? Very good. Very good. Okay, we're going to send some more. Claude's got a few more he's going to send around. Chef Pinky, can we talk to you now, or are you in the middle?
Oh, no, I'm good.
Okay,
I'm ready.
we've got JC and Betty are obsessed over there. They're
Okay.
eating. I think very happy. We're going to talk to Chef Pinky.
Okay,
So
while
tell us
they
what
eat.
you've got now again.
Okay, so
Oh, look at this. It looks beautiful.
yes, so my thing is all about reducing waste. So,
that would-
which is
maybe
low
many
waste
people
menu.
can
What
taste
is reducing waste? Am I there? Oh, here.
Okay.
Okay, so what I did, I fried some onions. So every pieces of vegetables that I have used, I have made into a stock. So this is all the peels that you don't need on your onions, your stalks, your garlic peels, and then the tomato seeds, and then this is the stock. Because the recipe requires water. So what did I do? I made a stock to, remember, flavor, flavor, flavor. So what I did then, the eggplants, I just fried the eggplant. So, and then from there you just mix everything together
Great.
with the chapati. So you can substitute from here. You can substitute your vegetables. Whatever vegetables are there for school feeding, you put it in there. But it is as simple as that. You do not need to complicate it.
Perfect. So you've got some to share.
Yes,
We're
I
going to
do.
pass that round. I want to hear from somebody who tried Chef Claude's.
Just
Can you take the mic
I
to
did,
somebody who
green
tasted?
banana.
And I want to
Then
hear
I
what you
mashed them.
think.
I mash them, then shake it round. That's it.
Never had been so good, Chef.
So yeah.
Anyone else? Yes?
Yes.
It was absolutely delicious. I want more.
It will keep you
Awesome.
and cross it with beans.
One more. One more.
And this is bean sauce.
And then here, Paul, what I have here.
Sweet. Very smooth and sweet.
Thank you.
Just like Claude.
Really? I don't know about that.
Okay,
Okay.
sorry, Chef. Pinky. Yes?
So what I did, some of the eggplant, I made an eggplant steak.
You get lunch.
Let me just hold it. So I made an eggplant steak,
You can give me
and
more
then from
plates?
there, the mixture there, then I put it there, and then my colleague here from Nigeria made a sauce, and I stole her sauce because it tastes delicious. So she will tell you about what she put in the sauce, but it is amazing. It's packed of flavor.
She's cooking in a minute, so we'll
She's
get her to
cooking
give
in a
some
minute.
tips. It's
yes.
a secret.
It's a secret.
Okay, so can we send these around?
Yes, please.
Okay, so we need somebody to send some food around. Okay, so we'll get this out and people can try. While we're doing that, I just want to ask Chef Claude. So at the moment, you know, the flavor profile of these beans. How you obviously have thought about this. How can we get more people eating them? You've also thought about at schools.
This is how we can get people to make it more attractive. And then obviously with the nutrition values, there'll be another major point to put the word across. But chefs have an important role because chef influence what people eat. So the more chef involved with this, the more obviously be trendy and yes.
That's great. And Chef Pinky, I know you're a big fan of like helping get people into this. You know, we're looking at how do we build this bigger movement of getting people in. And I know you always think about local dishes, but also how do you do it? So how do chefs get involved if there's people out here or people get chefs engaged in this?
Everybody goes to a restaurant, okay? And what is it that you eat? Do you know what you're eating? Do you know from which farm it comes from? So why chefs should be engaged and why should we encourage chefs to be in the food system? It's because it shouldn't be different from when you eat from home and when you go out and eat. We always saying overindulge because you indulge in fat diets. So what you want to go out there. It will be nicely presented. Obviously,
Yeah,
it's
very
not going to
nice.
be like a slop
it's very-
from home,
it's quick.
but you know, you need to do
And
it
as soon
like
as you take it
it's
off,
special.
it shuts on
So chefs have a big part in the food system, and there is
I
a
was like
lot of
in
food
between
wastage that
800 and
happens
15.
at the back of our
You just
kitchens.
have
So,
be
and then
used to
you,
it.
here we are, we're saying
normally
hungry for
use,
action. Here we're
gas,
saying
direct
food
heat.
security. But down the corner, there is a child that has slept for 3 or 5 days without having food. And then here we are in the kitchen, we're dumping the food. So we're trying to make sure that the chef knows that reducing waste is not just about sustainability, but it is the right thing to do.
Thank you, Chef. And I think when you hear chefs talking about food, it really brings it to life. We find people really trust chefs. There's a lot of trust when you go to a restaurant. You are eating things, and people want people to talk about food. And I think this is really important for bringing the food conversation together. So look, as we're going to be transitioning into a next segment, but I just want to see, did anyone who tried it up the back there? We've got a mic. Let's see what Remy thought.
I don't have
Remy,
plates.
what did you think
I
from
don't have
SOS
plates.
Style?
Let's put the
I want to.
Lavender there.
I want to.
Oh, all
Thank
come.
you. Usually I don't like bean, but it's really tasty. Thank you.
Awesome. Behind you,
Wonderful.
you liked it?
Yes. Very lovely.
Perfect. Anyone else want to say anything just about the dish? Did anyone like the beans?
yeah.
One more.
Beans is live, guys.
Okay.
Beans
Well, thank
is
you, and
live.
thank you to Betty and JC for joining us, for your innovations, your work, your insights. You guys are going to be around, I know, for speaking at different things, and if people want to know where to get beans from or to tap into the work that you're doing, please come up and find them. I'm expecting you'll be swamped as you walk off stage. But really appreciate the work you're doing, and especially for the next generation. So keep up the good work. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you to our chefs for bringing together the flavors. They're going to be back through the week. So please, when you see them, reach out, make them feel welcome, tell them about what you're doing, ask them for some tips for dinner. Chef Claude is local, so he can tell you which restaurants to go to, and all the rest. So we're going to, as we're just cleaning down, we've got
Can
two
we
new
go
chefs
off?
coming to
I've
join
got one
us in a
station
minute.
ready.
There's lots of challenges for young people in agriculture,
Okay.
but there's also incredible opportunity. So we see sometimes
have
barriers,
opportunity.
but there's also opportunity. We know that agriculture is at the backbone of our economy, and it's a crucial pillar for
Where's your stuff
sustainable
here?
development.
That's spill.
Yet often we find it struggles to attract the next generation.
You didn't forget.
And so as we think about that, there's over 500 million smallholder farmers across the world who grow a third of the world's food. And so it's so important that we make sure that we're seeing more people come into farming. So we're going to talk a little bit now about how do we change the narrative, how do we make agriculture not just a viable option, but also an exciting, innovative career, and so that young people are getting engaged. So we're going to bring this together. It's going to be talking about youth, food, innovation, and bringing agriculture to life on the plate. So we're going to dive in. I'm going to invite a very special guest, the nutrition-sensitive agriculture lead at AGRA, Bertha, and please come, looking absolutely lovely in purple today. Please come and join us. And then we have a microphone for you, and I'll come to you in a sec. And then we also have Chef Moyo and Chef Kieran. You guys are coming on, so you guys, they're setting up for a minute. But why don't we start with you, Bertha? We'll come forward so they can keep setting up. So, can you introduce yourself a little bit?
Chopping board.
From your perspective, you're working at AGRA. What are some of the biggest challenges young people face when they consider this career in agriculture? And how do we change these challenges into opportunities to make agriculture not just a viable option, but also exciting and innovative career choice for the youth of Africa?
Yeah.
It's working? It should be working. Yeah, just 1 second. Try now. It's okay. It's working. It's working. It's working. Charles, bring. No?
Is that working?
It's working.
And I work at AGRA as a nutrition lead. And yes, at AGRA we work with programs that are targeting youth. That came in with the realization that a lot of young people are looking to enter into the job market. Like every year we have about 10 million young Africans who wants to go into the job market. But the job market can only offer 3 million to them.
So there's a gap.
It means we have a very big gap. And so what do we do with the rest of the young people? Agriculture in Africa, it offers almost 80% of the jobs, okay? But at the same time, we do not have many young people going into agriculture for obvious reasons. For example, in African communities, one family can have about 5 children. And then when your children grow up, you own less than a hectare of land. Now, for those 5 children, if they did not get out of that village, for them to share that piece of land is another problem. So access to land becomes a very big challenge for them. Even if they want to rent the land, they do not have the resources. These are young people that are just starting life. So access to land becomes a very big challenge for young people. Access to finance, for them to finance their businesses. Because you are young, you go to the bank, they ask you, do you have collateral, do you have assets, do you have anything that we can use for you to get financing? The other problem that the young people will face is the knowledge and the skills. Because agriculture is no longer the traditional way of doing things. They need particular skills, specific skills, for them to be proper farmers who can play and compete on this stage. So it becomes increasingly difficult for them to even think of taking agriculture seriously. And when we talk of agriculture, I think in an African setting, we just think of a hoe and a piece of land, and that's it. But agriculture is like very broad, from production, from processing, logistics, all the way to the food on the plate. Like this, she's a chef. She's in agriculture. She's employed. She's self-employed. That's part of agriculture. So what we're looking at, what are the opportunities now within the agriculture value chains that these young people can play? At AGRA, we have launched a program. We call it YEFA. YEFA is actually a program where it is looking at the opportunities that we can create for young people in agriculture, from food production. So we influence policies for them to access land. I know here in Rwanda they have policies where they're trying to make young people access land for them to grow food. And we have other investments we are doing with banks where we provide BDS, business development services, where young people can go and get financing, training, skills for them to successfully play in the food value chains. As you can see, for this food to be here, it needs someone to grow it, it needs someone to package it, to clean it, to process it, and to take it to the market. All those create opportunities for young people to find jobs. It's about leaders defining these opportunities and positioning young people to access these opportunities. So that's exactly what we are doing at AGRA.
I love how you're looking at that value chain and looking at all of the points, because often we do think food appears. You know, when you talk to children, sometimes they go, where's the food come from? They say the supermarket. And you go, well, no, there's a whole process there, or the market, you know. And so I think this is really important. So your AGRA is at the forefront of agricultural transformation across Africa. What are some of the innovative strategies that you've seen work to attract young people to agriculture, to make it more desirable?
Yeah. So one of the areas that we are really investing in is ensuring that the young people understand the opportunities within these value chains. And for example, we are working with different banks to provide BDA services where young people can go and get financing and training. That has worked very well. We have also managed to look at the possibility of having like a food innovation hub where you can create skills where they can learn about product development. This is something that we are just putting into the mainstream activities of ourselves. We are not there yet, but we are thinking if we introduce such kind of innovations, it would be very good. We're also exploring data, digital analytics, to get more information, to understand
Working out how you want it?
trends,
Working out?
going forward. How does
just came
it
out well.
look like in 2 years'
So
time?
we start-
We need data and analytics to inform that. So all that we
taste.
package together and provide to the young people during the sessions that we organize for them to tap into the opportunities
It's
that
like
are there,
an Indian dal
for
bhajia.
them to
Have you ever had
play
those?
on the stage as food producers.
So
as-
funny. It's very
as
similar,
participants.
but different.
Yeah, no, and I think
I like
providing
the
these
awareness.
choices and opportunities is really critical. And I think thinking about, not everyone wants to do one
help?
thing, but
Can I
how
help
do
you
you
with
think
anything?
about providing
this
these
one's not
opportunities? Young people I know are constantly flip-flopping about what am I doing, how am I, what choices am I going to make? And so I think this is, you know, creating that dynamic career space is really important. Okay, so I'm gonna talk to our chefs that are here. These are big conversations. They sometimes make you hungry, and I'm sure you're sitting here thinking about also what is going on here. So I'm gonna start. We've got Chef Moyo and Chef Kieran here, and so thank you for both being here today.
No problem.
We've got Kenya and Nigeria representing. We've got a little bit of cheer squads. Anyone from Kenya here?
Oh, yeah.
We've got some Kenyans here. Are you going to be louder than the Nigerians?
He's
No.
definitely out of that guy.
Let's check. Let's
Just
check.
the truth.
Is there any Kenyans here? Yes. Is there any Nigerians here? Okay, you guys keep practicing. That was a good warm up. Okay, I'm gonna thank you for coming with us to us here today. So I'm gonna maybe start with you, Chef Moyo. I know you're the one that is right in the middle of it, and Kieran's waiting for me. But there. Chef Moyo, you're a young chef. You're one of leading African women in food fellowships, top chefs in Africa. So many. We met last year in Tanzania,
Yeah.
and you've created an immersive culinary experience that showcases the incredible diversity and depth of West African cuisine. I've seen some of your menus and how they shine light on local, seasonal ingredients to create dishes that are thoughtful and connected to the land and people. Tell us a little bit about your story and what food means to you.
So really for me, food is about home, right? Food is about the people that it represents. Atije, which is the name of our dining experience, means how we eat. So we're all about exploring how we eat as Nigerians, as West Africans, our food ways and our food culture. We believe that how we eat tells so much about who we are,
Yep.
who our ancestors were, and who we can be in the future. So it's really storytelling through food that is familiar yet different. So showing people that these are ingredients, but we can do more than the typical with them. We can push them further. We can experiment. You can make them your own. That's really what we love doing.
That's amazing. And I love the storytelling element. So what are you preparing? You're busy here preparing something. Just tell us what you are preparing so we can get our taste buds going. And then I'll give you some more time to cook because I know you've got a lot of people here very hungry.
So I'm making AGRA, right, which is a bean fritter that is eaten all over West Africa, made from honey beans or Kampala beans, and it's typically served with pap. Pap is like a fermented porridge, so it's normally breakfast. Saturday mornings, Nigerian household is akara and pap. But today I'm making for you akara. We're going to stuff it with a mango chutney. Normally I'll do just mango, but we're in Rwanda. So there's passion fruit in there, there's tree tomato in there, some chives. So you have the bean, right, fluffy, sweet, the sweet and sour salsa, and then the romesco sauce that Chef Pinky was talking about earlier.
Sounds delicious. We're going to have to make sure don't send it all to them. We'll make
I
sure.
have
We'll let
it
you
covered.
keep cooking. I'm
Thank
going to come
you.
across and say hello to Chef Kieran. So, Chef Kieran, you've brought African cuisine to a global audience in so many ways. You've been involved in things like wilderness survival shows like Chefs versus the Wild. You've got your own restaurants, you've got a catering company, you've got a number of other businesses and innovations to address different issues. You're also been a mentor and a source of inspiration to a lot of young people around Africa. How do you see the role of chefs playing a role in this movement to get people more interested in agriculture and to appeal to that next generation? And have you had any young chefs involved in your kitchens?
I mean, to answer that one first, so many, some incredible stories that I could sort of pick from, which maybe I'll come back to. In terms of my role or the role of chefs, I think like probably the most important thing from my perspective, and something that I've been like doing a lot of over my career, is understanding the source and getting to the source. And I think when you understand that, you respect and understand food far better. And I think we live in a world today where prepackaged is everything. People have totally lost connection with where food comes from, what it looks like when it's growing, what it looks like before it's been processed. They have absolutely no idea. And you know, it's fascinating when you go and see something growing for the first time, see what kind of a tree or shrub or you know, plant that it comes from. It just makes a connection that I think really sticks with you. And so I think if we can understand and respect where food comes from, how difficult it is to produce food, what producers go through to create all this. We live in this sort of disposable economy, this disposable lifestyle where everything's on tap, and you know, that's okay. Maybe I speak for a lot of people, should we say, in the Western world, but if you are in this part of the world, you see the polar opposite of that. And I think the more people can connect back to where it comes from, respect what it takes to create food, you will immediately stop being so wasteful. You will take care of what's in your pantry more, and it's already just a very easy win.
Yeah.
We don't have to do anything particularly innovative or techy, or you know, just connect back to where food comes from, and that's a good start.
Yeah.
And then we can start getting elaborate about how we fix food systems and, you know, doing all that. But the number of people who have no idea, how many people have seen the beans that Moyo is cooking, what the plant looks like? I mean, probably by a show of hands here, probably great.
A few people.
A few.
But not enough, really.
And you're all special.
They're here to
you are all in the system, yeah? You're like, well, let's go out into the street there and ask people. Nobody. And it's a big problem.
So how does, like we're talking about digital and climate era as well in the theme for African Food System Forum, what role, you've been using TV and social media, what role do digital tools play to engage and excite young people, but also to showcase some of this?
Well, it's simple, isn't it? It's such an incredible tool to reach many people quickly, create sensible, intelligent content that speaks to that. And you'll find the right audience very quickly.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, if it is genuine and it is useful, people will start grabbing onto the conversation. And I mean, that's one of the great things about tech. I mean, I think if it could be used, if social media can be used more effectively for things like that rather than what it sort of is used for, the power of it is incredible. But, you know, unfortunately, it's sort of headed off in a direction that many of us probably don't like. It is what it is. But it's a tool that's there, and I think it could be made more use of.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Tell us a little bit about what you're cooking.
Clearly nothing right now.
Yeah, no, you need to get cooking because I'm getting hungry.
So organised that it'll be.
You think it's going to take no time?
No time till no.
He's a professional.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait till you see what I screw up here. So my brief was to try, from you and the team, was to try and create a familiar dish and bring it into a restaurant environment.
Okay.
So there's a staple in Kenya called irio, which is mashed maize, peas, and potatoes generally.
The Kenyans are nodding.
Yeah, you know irio? There you go. So it's quite a stodgy, starchy dish, fills your tummy. So I'm making a gnocchi out of that. The fantastic thing about that is you don't need, because there's a lot of starch in it, you don't need to add anything to it. There's no eggs, which would be in a traditional gnocchi recipe, no flour to bind it. Creates a very delicate gnocchi. Any Italian out there will tell you that the delicateness, the mouthfeel of the gnocchi is everything, or, you know, get out of my country type thing. Then there's another, it's probably the most used vegetable in Kenya. It's called sukuma wiki. It's a type of kale. I've made a crackling out of that. There's a very simple tomato sauce with some cured cucumber. And then I'm going to one of the things I wanted to do was try and create a dish that didn't require a cold chain. So ingredients that don't require a cold chain.
Yeah.
And I think
Do people know what that means?
Yeah. Now, I think what's key in this part of the world is the problem with cold and hot chain management. So this is a very familiar dish from a palate point of view to many people, but the dairy that I'm using is fermented milk, mala, yogurt, which can exist for a period of time outside of a cold chain. I'm not using cream, because that can't. I'm using olive oil, but you could use any normal sort of plain oil.
Yeah.
And the rest of this can all be created without a fridge.
It's amazing.
And with simple, so it was kind of something I was really thinking about. The cucumber's pickled, curing, pickling, fermenting, it'll last forever. It's an age-old traditional method of preservation, and frankly, a fantastic. I believe you have
Great flavor.
Yeah.
Good for the microbiome.
Exactly. I believe we have a sixth sense.
Yeah.
Like all the top restaurants in the world that ferment food, and we love fermented food, and I believe that when we put a fermented food in our mouth, our brain immediately knows it's good for us, and we like it more. That's why fermented food does so well. So anything that's pickled, fermented, our palate latches onto it, and off we go. It's also a great palate cleanser. If you're through a meal and you've got a little bit of something pickled in there, it keeps cleaning your mouth, so you can keep going back for more. But that's it. So it was trying to create a dish that's familiar from an old staple that takes a cold chain out of it, and could be put in a restaurant.
Amazing. Well, start preparing, because I'm hungry now.
I'll start cooking, yeah.
What's standing out to you as we're talking, Bertha? There's a lot of interesting points being raised.
Yeah. I think for me...
It's on? I think so.
It's on. I think for me, really, it's the opportunities that I see beyond just the food on the plate. Before...
This one.
Okay. I think before this food came here,
yeah.
He's talking about a lot of things that have happened here. There's milk, yogurt, fermented milk. He's talked about cucumbers, which can stay longer. So for me, I'm already looking at some young people, some young person somewhere, be able to think as this as a business opportunity. Can there be the suppliers within the value chain? If this milk has to be transported, can they be part of that system? So it's like, before the food gets to the plate, we really need to go back. He talked about how important it is to appreciate the food, where it is coming from. So all those opportunities, they'll need someone to drive the supply chain.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of opportunities for young people to look at jobs. That's why you discover that agriculture is not boring anyway. There's a lot that you can do. You might need someone to come up with some technology where they want to check the shelf life of food. Like, how long can this stay? Can we improve on it? Can I package this? Can I put it on the shelf? So all those, the science, the technology, the innovation, I think provides a lot of room for young people to think beyond a home in their village.
Exactly, yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, Chef Moyo, just talking to you, when you're cooking, and how do you've got young people that work for you, I'm assuming?
Yes, so we have something called the Women of Atije.
Which?
Women of Atije. And that's our fully female kitchen team. It just happened. I didn't plan it.
I think it's...
And it's all...
Have we got any women here?
Young women,
yeah.
Young women that are really excited about food. They wanted something different, and it's an opportunity for them to creatively explore, our cuisine and push beyond the boundaries. And that's really lovely.
But I was talking to you over dinner last night.
Yes.
I'm not going to talk about your second favorite color.
Okay.
But I'm going to talk to you just quickly because, in Nigeria, is this something, becoming a chef, is this something your parents had as the top pick? And you went home and you said, I want to go and cook. And they said, we're very proud parents now.
So I was saying yesterday that in Nigerian households, you can be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, an accountant, or a failure. It's one of the five, ideally, but my parents were super supportive. in my dream and in what I wanted to do. So yeah.
So I think this also is an interesting thing about how if we want the next generation, and in Africa we have a young population.
Yeah.
So how does that generation get supported and encouraged into food system based? Yeah.
I think African is a young continent. Africa is a young continent, and it depends on how we want to look at our continent. We can look at ourselves and our young people as an opportunity, or we can look at the problem. I choose to look at our young people as an opportunity. We are the only continent that has the youngest population of young people. If we harness this youth and invest in them,
Karen,
in the next 10 years,
can I get that
we'll be
plate,
unstoppable.
that white plate,
So it's a
that
matter
big
of
one?
investing in the young people, looking at the opportunities and empowering them. Instead of, I think most of the times we mistake the young people's role to a bare minimum of like, okay, you can sing in political parties and you can do, that's abuse to our young people. We need to invest technology, we need to invest in IT, in all these things, and position them as drivers. You know, we know that in the food system, with these all opportunities, let them be positioned as drivers. Positioning them, it means making policies that can work for them. You know, investing in them, making sure that the banks are even open to them, matching grants, all those opportunities that are there. So I choose to look at our young people, as many as they are, as an opportunity for us on this continent to drive our food system. We can't be hungry at this time. We shouldn't be talking about hunger and malnutrition on this continent, where our 60% of the land is arable. We have fresh water, we have young people, energetic. I think there's something wrong where we are not positioning ourselves properly. And that our young people, I am strongly believing this, and I'm confirming this, they hold the key to the next good things that are going to happen in this country.
Absolutely. Chef Kieran, when you're sourcing ingredients, you have choices to make. You run multiple restaurants, you're bringing in, what are some of the principles you use to think about this? Do you think about young entrepreneurs? Do you think in that way, or what are you? Obviously, you want good ingredients, but
if I have to be honest with you, it starts with the ingredient. It really does. And then you get back to the suppliers, you have a look at how they're doing things, where it comes from, and you try and source from the most responsible, you know, whether it's seafood, whether it's vegetables, whatever it is, just people who are, you know, being as responsible as possible with their farming practices or their produce. And then you would hope that they drive their own agenda. You know, like you know, you can't do everything. It is a difficult business.
Yeah.
And I mean, if possible, you'll align the stars will align across the whole lot. But for me, it really does start with the produce, responsibly created produce. And yeah, that tastes good and that is good for you.
So it's thinking about how do you position that, how do we get that into the market in the right way.
Exactly.
How are we going on? I'm getting very hungry, just so
I'm almost there.
You're
Don't
almost
worry.
there?
Yeah,
Okay.
tasters are coming.
You guys are almost there?
Oh, you're always hungry.
Here we go. Can I put this over here? Is that all right for you? Or not?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Perfect. Okay. So you're almost there. You're going to be stuffing these. Talk to me a little bit about cooking. Do you use the skin on? What's the way to cook these beans?
So typically, AGRA is made with the peeled beans.
A peeled bean?
Yeah, but today I left the skin on.
Why?
Because it's higher fiber. But I think people remove them because of flatulence and things, but it doesn't make a difference. It's still as fluffy, it's still as nice when you leave the skins on.
So in terms of cooking, did you adjust any of your cooking technique to keep the skin on to get that fluffiness?
It's almost easier, to be honest, with the skin on.
No, it's good. That's great. No, it's really, really good. This is looking amazing.
Yeah.
So in terms of how you guys would
Can I just show you something quickly?
Yeah.
So that's just fermented milk. That's, you know, like the Greeks do. It's been hung. And look at that.
And it doesn't need to be refrigerated.
Yeah, consistency-wise, as an ingredient.
So how do you actually create this?
That's just, you can see the sort of muslin cloth.
Yeah.
You just literally put the yogurt in there. It strains out the water, and then that means it doesn't split when you put it in the. When you put it in a sauce, as long as you don't overheat it, which I'm doing right now, it shouldn't split. And then there's that tartness that the yogurt will bring, the cream wouldn't. And yeah, so anyway, when you taste it, you'll try and see what you think. But yeah.
Looks amazing.
If you have it hung and you get rid of then it literally doesn't split. And look how thick that is.
So this is yogurt through the Muslim.
Yeah, just hang it.
Rain.
Yeah,
And
just
hang it.
You do in your fridge at home. Very easy.
Any
You
particular
don't need a
yogurt?
fridge, which is what I just said, so you can do it.
Any
in your-
particular yogurt?
No, I mean anything. I mean, if it's slightly runnier, you know that you'll just need to strain more of the liquid off. But
Yeah.
no,
Amazing.
no, you can just
Have
use.
you done this at home?
I think I can. I think I can try.
So we're getting some plating coming together.
Yes.
We're going to send the dishes out in just a second. So Chef Moya, which beans did you use this time? Honey beans?
Yes, these are honey beans.
But you can use different types of beans?
Yes,
or-
you can.
So
You
what
can
other
use
beans could
different
you
kinds
use
of
on
beans.
this?
Black-eyed beans, really, depending on what you have.
Even the iron.
High iron beans?
Yes, you can. So all you have to do is soak them, then you blend them with onions, peppers, and then you whip the batter.
Well,
Yep.
amazing. We've got, is anyone hungry? Yes? You're looking forward?
So
That's
there's
looking
something
amazing.
that we do at Atije, right?
Yeah.
Our menus have some icons on them telling you how to eat. And the first two courses, we always advise you to eat with your hands. So our canapes and our breads, everyone has to dive in with their hands. So are we ready for that?
We are.
So I
People
have
have got
some
their hands
first.
ready.
Don't know if you guys want to try.
Can we try?
Yes, please. Oh,
I'm going to have one too. Looks amazing. Very good. Can you see? Are you guys jealous?
Very nice.
so there's the mangoes, the cherry tomato, the passion fruit.
That mix of
Wow.
flavors and,
It's fluffy and light and delicious. You can all go away. We're going to just take this now. No, I like... And so you can use different stuffings depending on where you
Yeah,
are.
whatever you want, really.
Amazing.
It can be, so Nigerians eat it with like pap or custard or anything you want.
Do you need some help stuffing?
Yes, please.
Chef Pinky? Chef Pinky, can you come and help? Sorry, we need another chef.
So,
Okay, Kieran. Woo! Look
Yes,
at this,
please.
guys.
just come and help me be putting
Check this out.
our stuff. And then you can just put it.
Food and Instagram go closely together. So
Sorry?
this is about media for the young people. It looks amazing. Okay, come and take your photos. Come. Come and take your photos. Make sure you tag the chef, the African Food System Forum,
they've tasted-
AGRA,
oh, the
Chef's
photo, yeah.
Manifesto. It's stunning, huh? See, it's so amazing. People sometimes go, oh, people are taking photos of food.
Of course.
But this is about
course.
the first part of eating, is seeing beauty. Oh, you want a photo?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we've got people taking the stage now. So
Oh, you know.
I like the forwardness. Very bold. I'll pay it. Good job. So we need a couple of... Can we try something? We'll try one. We'll get one of these little ones.
Yeah,
Shall we?
yeah, here we go.
We'll try these little ones. Okay, and then we're going to send some around, and we'll see.
So the idea with the crackling is you actually break it in because it's quite salty, and then it seasons the...
So you break it in.
Yeah, you crumble that in, and it seasons it as well because it's deliberately salty.
Okay.
So it's not just there for show.
It's vegetarian.
It's almost vegan.
It's almost vegan.
Almost vegan, but I mean, I throw the yogurt in there and then that kind of de-veganizes it, but you could just get rid of the yogurt and then it would be totally vegan
And you
as well.
get the pulp from the
Cucumber?
cucumber.
Yeah, that's supposed to like clean your mouth as you go, you know?
No, you guys won't like this one.
I'll do quite a few more.
very nice.
Okay. So, before we send this food out, any reflections just on the two dishes?
I think for me, having this time, testing this food, I just want us to really reflect on where is this food coming from? Who is growing this food? opportunities are there
Yep.
for this food to get here. What could be there that we can really capitalize on? And I think the food system is about connecting different players and their actions. Because for this food, for us to eat without having stomach pains and stuff, someone paid a lot of attention to safety. So the actions of different actors in the food system are really important to make sure that we land on the table the food that is safe, nutritious, as well as tastier. It's very tasty.
Can we take this down, Chef?
For me, that's the reflection that I
Yeah.
think can be.
So it's the flavor and also who created the food. I think this is really, but to me this is about, food is about storytelling as well. So much before we put something in our mouth is about, we come with our preconceived ideas, our culture, our community. And so as we put the food in our mouth, it's all of those stories come rushing back. It might be a memory of a time or a person or something. And so to me this is really critical. So we've got some people tasting. We're going to come to you with a microphone in a minute and ask for a reflection. They're shaking their heads. I'm not sure if they like it, Chef Moya.
We wait to hear.
Go that.
Right?
There's a couple more.
Yeah.
I'll do a bit more.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to have we're going to pass this food out, but I wanted to give a moment for you to ask a couple of questions of the chefs or of Bertha. So any questions or around what we've been talking about today from anyone in the audience. And I think we have a microphone that somebody will have. So if you've got a question, we've got a question in the front row. We're just getting the microphone, so 1 minute. And then the dishes are going to come out. We have the microphone, front row, in the lovely orange.
Hello, I came halfway, so maybe I missed this. Do you have advocacy work with industry, with restaurants, so that they are healthy diets? You know, it's very difficult to, even if you know what's good for you, taste will always drive you. How nice something tastes will always be the deciding factor on what you choose to eat. And I say that because it's something I struggle with. So do you do any advocacy work with industry, restaurants, to progressively and slowly just at least give healthy but delicious options?
So let me just say a couple of quick words. So we have a network called the Chefs Manifesto. It was created for chefs by chefs in 2017 to connect the Sustainable Development Goals to the work of chefs. So chefs, as we've seen, connect food to fork. You know, they're fork to farm. They are making decisions in kitchens. And many people say, but their decisions are limited by this, what people want. And that's true. They have to think about the business model because they are in a business, and business needs to be sustainable first. Otherwise, it goes out of business. But what they can do is they can make a lot of choices. People don't often choose based on health as the first thing. It's taste, convenience, and price. And so you need to get two out of those three, otherwise the dish will fail. So when you're running a restaurant, chefs can make choices, but they have to make it taste good. They have to make it affordable. They have to make it convenient. And so we do a lot of work with the chefs more than the business. Often it's the same, but the chef in the back of the kitchen says, well, what can I do? Well, you can talk to these chefs. They can do a huge amount. They can choose what ingredient to eat. They can choose, do we leave the skin on or take it off? Now, just that fiber is a massive difference. So these things, as long as they use their techniques and their crafts, they can make a difference. And so for me, there's a lot there. I don't know, Chef, do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, sorry, I kind of lost my train a bit. Just so it's
about making food more healthy in a restaurant. Obviously, it's not your number one business model, but how have you thought about that, and how can chefs do more of that?
Well, I mean, I think it's the balance, isn't it? That it always, at sort of the restaurant end of the spectrum, it boils down to quality ingredients. And if you have quality ingredients in it and you treat them correctly, you are going to have healthier food, regardless. And so I think maybe that's where those two intersect. I went to a very interesting talk on the weekend with a woman who's a soil specialist, and I learned something which was all about, I'm not going to get into it now, but look it up, the bricks of certain vegetables, you know, what's their mineral content, and they're coming up with ways to measure this, and I had no idea. And just by, you know, you can have two suppliers doing the same things but using slightly different inputs, and you'll have a completely different quality, not to the eye, but like when you break it down, the actual mineral, salt, sugar, nutritional content of something, and then you're like, well, if I could measure that as a chef, if I could like scan that spinach versus that spinach, and I know, you know, that one actually looks the same, but that one's healthier, better. It'll taste better, it'll be better for you, it'll look better on a plate.
Yeah.
And so that end of the scale, it is a very, very difficult industry, the restaurant industry. And so we are always trying to juggle very needy, difficult people.
We're not difficult.
But you have the right because you're paying. You know, that's it. It's true. It's the business. You know, you come in, you pay money, we run around. And so highly competitive. And you're constantly trying to find this. But for me, like, the very simple way of answering that is quality produce.
Yeah.
Treated correctly to retain and maintain the integrity of that produce, to bring out the best of it, and you will have good food.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to eat in a restaurant every night a week. It's not every night of the week. It's not health. That's not a good lifestyle choice. But you know, it's an occasional thing that you enjoy, and our responsibility is to make sure you really enjoy it with quality produce. Yeah.
No, I mean, and it's also one of the things that on Thursday we're going to be doing is a bean burger challenge. Now, people go, burgers, are they healthy? But if people want convenient food that's easy, then how do you think about making that more healthy? And there are ways in which you can make it much more healthy. And so we're going to have the chefs actually competing. We're going to have some judging going on. And this is something that we've also been working on in Nairobi this past week with Nairobi Burger Week, with lots of restaurants putting on burger menus, bean burgers, and thinking differently about how do we change people's perceptions around beans. And this can be done on all different ingredients. So I'd say there's a lot on biodiversity, lots of thinking through how do you increase nutritionally dense foods and bringing that into the conversation.
And I think for me, it's also a reminder of being able to understand how we can bring our indigenous foods, you know, our local foods.
Hello, my dear.
Did
you try?
I'm
going to do some more now.
Because that also presents diversity.
Yeah.
About the food system, making the food system work for us is by recognizing what do we have that has been neglected.
Yeah.
You know, I see a lot of, you know, fancy herbs and stuff, you know. So some of such things, the more we promote them, the more we go back to our roots.
Creates value.
How we worked with our ancestors. How do we innovate this existing one to fit in our modern way of thinking, of demanding food? Because we are a generation which is so fancy with food. Yeah? But at the same time, we can be fancy but still very indigenous, looking at our ingredients,
Yeah.
the safety of it, the nutritional quality of it.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think this brings that out very well.
It does, it does. Are people enjoying the food? Yes? We have one question here, and then we're going to be wrapping this section up, and then we've got another exciting section. So, okay, we'll do two. You can do them both, but faster.
Okay, it's very fast, and it's actually just like a shout out to all the chefs who've worked with so many wonderful biodiverse ingredients. Especially, I'm just not trying the little croquette, and we're using tree tomato or passion fruit, and innovating all these products that are right here.
Just a couple of bits, 2, 3.
And then just
It's quite strong.
And how do I know what nutritional value? We have a project called the Periodic Table of Food Initiative, and that is looking at all of the amazing components of food, all of your minerals that you want to know, the iron, the zinc, and the calcium, but also all of the phenolic compounds, all the flavanols, the terpenes, the sterols. It's amazing what you get when you eat diverse food. So
Absolutely.
we're with you on the journey to explore what's in food.
And I think as we find that out, it's going to be so good. And there's a number of beans you're looking at. Taylor.
Hi, thanks. Quick question for the chefs and also for Paul and Britta. Who influences food culture in the countries that you work in? Of course, like in places like Nigeria, the rise of instant noodles in recent years, chefs, of course, are one influence of food culture, but who else is influencing food culture?
Instagram.
Yeah, so it is a lot of influencing has a part to play in it. And the truth is that sadly, a lot of times it has to do with brand endorsement. It's the brands that are willing to push and use influencers and make the real difference. And influencers play a huge part in what people perceive as good, as nice, as trendy. But then there still are chefs who are playing an interesting part. And sometimes it's even like the market women, right? The produce that they put out there for you to buy as opposed to the ones that they store back there because they think nobody will want it. So there are a couple of players in that industry, but I think we do all have our part to play in changing the narrative.
Kieran, anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the battle, isn't it? Because you do have the problem with young people today wanting to eat in a certain way. I mean, every mother and father in this room will know that story. You know, just trying to get in your own home, trying to get people to eat properly. Then you have brands pushing wheat and sugar down lots of people's and highly processed, hyper-processed foods down, through all the channels to the kids, and us on the other end trying to feed them in a different way. So, I mean, I think we go back to social media, how it's used, people who have access to it and have followings to use it responsibly, and try and make people understand how tasty food can be if you just, and healthy at the same time, without having to just eat a load of junk. We are on a horrible trajectory, especially on this continent, for, some serious problems with poor diet, obesity, non-communicable diseases. All the big players who are pushing wheat and sugar down everyone's throats, they should be held to account, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And they should be more responsible.
And I think that's why it's so critical getting these new ingredients out there, getting traditional ingredients looking more, futuristic and
things
attractive.
Like, the millet. That was so
Exactly.
nice because you get people to think about what is even a millet, how do we eat it? Because in Nigeria it's mostly pap.
Yeah.
But why not boil it? Why not use it in your salad?
Yeah.
Expanding the way that you can use it. Yes.
Yeah. So, okay, well, we have come to time. We're going to be having one last section on the stage, but we're going to have a couple of minutes break and we're going to start back. We're going to be having another taste of the future of food with our local hero here, Chef Malonga. Is going to come and join me on stage for a conversation. If you know food and you know fine dining and the 50 best and lots of these, Chef Malonga has got a restaurant. People travel from around the world to come and try here in Kigali. It's booked out all week, so you can, and it's only open with a very small number of seats. But we'll talk about that. But you can come back to Rwanda and visit the restaurant. But we're going to have him up on stage in just a few minutes. So don't go anywhere, but stand up, stretch your legs. And we're going to thank the chefs, to Moya, Kieran, and thank you, Bertha, for joining me on stage, and AGRA for helping host this. But please feel free to chat to them, and we'll be back in just 2 or 3 minutes right here on stage.
Eat it. I need to eat this. Try this.
it's a real experience where you're in the kitchen almost. You're surrounded, and the ingredients, the attention to detail is absolutely critical. So I'm going to invite Chef Malonga to come. Please come and join me. Can you give him a hand? Come and join us.
Hi.
So it's wonderful to have you here. I know you're very busy.
I'm happy to be here.
It's great to have you here. So you started your culinary path in some of Europe's top Michelin star restaurants, but then you chose to return to Africa to open your own restaurant, Meze Malonga, here in Kigali. Can you tell us a little bit about what motivated you to come to Kigali and to Rwanda and really have this restaurant which is focused on African cuisine?
So my first time when I came in Rwanda is, let's say, is now 8 years ago. I came just for a wedding.
Oh, really?
And after I was in love with the country.
Amazing. So you were just on holiday?
Yeah, it was only a holiday wedding. I was in Musanze, it's the north province of Rwanda. And directly I was in love with the ecosystem because normally I'm a farmer, I'm a chef and farmer.
Okay.
I love farming, and I found the amazing soil that we have in Musanze. The good thing, like I have a 7-hectare, we do farming in Musanze. We don't use chemical, that we have amazing volcanic soil.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. Before to open my restaurant, we start with farming. Yeah. Like today, everything what we use in my restaurant come from our farm.
Amazing. And where are you? Take us back a little bit. Where are you originally from?
I'm from Congo Brazzaville. Like I was born in Congo Brazzaville. I grew up in Germany and I spent 5 years in France.
Okay.
And I took like 2 years just traveling around Africa. I think till now I visit more than 48 countries.
Wow.
In Africa.
That deserves a clap. Has anyone else done more than 48 countries in Africa? How many countries are in Africa?
54.
So you've got 6 to go.
Yeah.
Which ones?
Both Sudan, Malawi, and
Malawi.
Exactly.
Oh, the Malawian here is very surprised.
Yeah. And
Malawi.
Comoros.
And where?
Comoros. I want
Okay.
to go to Comoros. Yeah.
Amazing. I've been to Malawi, so but I'm not beating you on the number. No, this is great. Okay, so you made this decision to come here. You were here for a wedding. Talk to me a little bit about what have you built here? What is the restaurant about? The farm? Talk to me a bit about that.
So after working in different countries in Europe, in star Michelin restaurants, my dream was open my first restaurant in Africa. I didn't know where, and when I came to Rwanda, I said, okay, this is the country I want to open my first restaurant. It's not only a restaurant. Like I have a project. We do trainings for young people. Like our ambition is like to train more young people in the future. So I have a non-profit school. There we train young people in culinary innovation. And also the project start together, the restaurant and also the school. Now we're celebrating 5 years of the project that we started here in Rwanda. Yeah.
It's amazing. And the restaurant, Meza means table.
Yeah, Meza is mean like table. It's a Bantu language. Me, I speak Lari and Kikongo. It's close to Kinyarwanda or Kirundi. People speak in Burundi. Like Meza is like a table. And Malonga is Lingala, we speak in Congo Brazzaville. It means something good. It's also a Bantu language.
Amazing. So we've got a little video I'm going to play so you can actually see. This is a video. Tell us, where did the video come from?
It's from RDB. That was a promotion of the work we do here in Rwanda about tourism and also like green farming in the country.
Okay. So if you can see the screen, we're going to put the video on. We're going to turn it up so everyone can hear.
Welcome to Rwanda, a world of endless opportunities, where innovation and growth converge against a breathtaking backdrop. This is your opportunity to embark on a transformative journey, seeking new horizons. Out of Africa lies Rwanda, a nation that has not only overcome adversity, but has emerged as one of Africa's most promising business hubs. Here, the prospects are abound and the incentives are abundant. Imagine a nation renowned for its ease of doing business, with a government committed to fostering a conducive environment for foreign investments. The World Bank ranks Rwanda as one of the top countries in Africa for business-friendly policies. Picture a workforce that is young, dynamic, and eager to contribute to your success. The government of Rwanda's commitment to technology and innovation creates the ideal setting for your business to thrive. With a rapidly growing digital infrastructure, your company can harness the power of connectivity like never before. From the vibrant streets of Kigali to the lush landscapes of the land of 1,000 hills, Rwanda invites companies and investors from all around the world to be a part of its success story. Be it in finance, technology, manufacturing, renewable energy, mining, or any sector, the possibilities are endless. Therefore, if you're a company with a vision for growth, Rwanda is more than a destination. It is an opportunity to be part of a nation's journey towards transformation. Discover Rwanda, where innovation meets opportunity and where your business aspirations can thrive. The future is here, and it's calling you to do business in Rwanda.
So our business also focus more on the farming. Like before we start our company, we start with farming. Like farming is, let's say, the center of everything what we do. And I'm since 7 years now myself farmer. We serve in my restaurant. We serve what we have. Like we really focus on what the earth gives to us.
Yeah.
That's why I think we was successful worldwide. They invite us most of the time in let's say, all conferences. And also we get the opportunity to get to be one of the 50 best restaurants in the world.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, and so how did that change things for the restaurant?
So when I talk about our restaurant, it's like, it's not just me or my team, it's a very large team. We have more farmers in my team than chefs. So we learn also how to farm because we work in farmer in a rural area. We learn from them how to farm properly. So that impact exactly the food that we do and also serve our guests. Because you can have all technique, but if you don't have a good product, the taste will be nothing.
Yeah.
That's why I think we focus more on product that we have.
Yeah. And so when you go to the restaurant, you'll see a lot of ingredients, a lot. How many ingredients do you have there on?
So we travel a lot with my team in different countries, and we bring spices from different countries. We try really to focus on the spices that we found in the continent. Till now, we've collected more than 450 spices only from Africa, and that most of the time we use in our restaurant.
It's amazing. And you've brought a few different ingredients with you
so
today.
This
so we
is
have some here.
exactly, this is one of the, let's say, main ingredients that we have in Rwanda is a sorghum.
Yeah.
Like we use a sorghum in pastry. The good thing with sorghum, like, is gluten-free, and you don't use a lot of water while farming. That is very, let's say, green planet friendly. And we have a green, we have a red sorghum that we use for doing the bread. I can just share with you after and can see the bread we did with this red sorghum. So
this is made with the red sorghum?
Exactly. This is 100% sorghum. And also we have the white sorghum. That's very different, very light to ferment it, because we do like a system of, let's say, pseudo fermentation.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is the white sorghum we did with this bread.
Amazing.
You can just pass.
We'll pass it around so you can have a look. So as a chef, like, what's the flavor profile of some of these ingredients? How, like, do you enjoy working with different ingredients like this? Because obviously most people would use wheat to make these kinds of breads.
Me, I like to work on the product that I know very well. And I'm very familiar to sorghum because I live here in Rwanda, and that's the product that we have. I think today people are traveling for to discover new thing.
Yeah.
And that's what we have here in Rwanda, and that's why we really share with our guests.
Yeah. And so you've got some spices here. Is this spices or what?
Yeah, this is some of the spices that we use. This is one of the 400 spices that we have. I will share after. We have these spices. They call it rondelle. It's from, you find it in Cameroon, also in Ghana. Okay. In Ghana, they call it contour onions. It's grown like nutmeg, but the taste is close to garlic.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. At first I thought garlic.
No, it's exactly. It's like, it's fermented before. Okay. And in Ghana, they call it like a contour onions because they have like an onion taste.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
this
so
kind of the
you
spices.
dry it, and then how do you use it in the?
Most of the time, we crush it or mix it with oil to create a, let's say, aioli or to give a taste in our bread.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so we have one of the best pepper in the world is from Cameroon. They call it penja. It's very expensive.
So no one's taking this. We're watching you. There's cameras, huh? Security will check.
So, woo! Yeah, since I brought the seed from Cameroon, but now we are farming it in Musanze. I think every year we have more than 10 or 5 kg, but we are trying in the future to have more than 100 kilo.
Okay, amazing.
And so we have pebe is from Cameroon, and it's close to, let's say, nutmeg.
Okay.
Yeah, the taste is little close to onions, fried onions. Exactly. In the same time, is also medicine. Most of ingredients we have in our restaurant is not only for food, but also for medicine. Yeah. That's very ingenious ingredients that all people use in the rural area. And this is very interesting. It's, they call it bouton. You find it in Ivory Coast. It's close to like a truffle.
It's amazing.
Yeah. The same time as with medicine.
So when you go exploring for these ingredients, tell us about how you do that. Do you just show up in a country and go to the local market, or how do you find
most of the time when I travel to go to learn about African ingredients, I go to the village, because I think in the village you find more authentic ingredients and also authentic recipe. And I call it like grandmother school. Like I spend more time with grandmother in the kitchen to learn more. Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And then you bring it back to the kitchen and you experiment, I guess.
What we do exactly after learning from grandmother, I come in the kitchen with my team. We try to create something, let's say, that we can share with the world using the new technology, and also the new technology of cooking that is very green for the planet.
So tell me, what are some of the biggest challenges you face in really moving into this space and pushing forward this new African cuisine, these ingredients? What are some of the biggest challenges?
I think a challenge is part of our life. Like no challenge, no life. I say always.
Of course.
And I do mistake always, and I learn from the mistake that I do. I cannot compare exactly, but it's, we learn when we grow with the challenge that we have in our industry. Before was with the farming, and was to get to use a technical that is let's say that we can work faster with farming. But now the challenge is going to solve little by little. But now we are stable with the way we are farming now.
Yeah, because you're growing. So if you didn't pick up, you're growing all these ingredients.
Exactly.
You're not only sourcing them, but then you're growing and learning how to turn them into different valuable plates of food, I guess.
Exactly.
Okay. And have you thought about what's next in this journey? So I know you've been building a space, but have you thought about how do you make these ingredients more available? Do you need partners? What's the... Yeah.
Our next project, we are open a very huge cooking school in Musanze. It's also a non-profit project. There we'll teach young people and using local ingredients. We are opening also a spices museum in Musanze. We're opening fermentation house. And the ambition is like to start in Rwanda and produce the same project in different countries in Africa.
Do you know where might be next?
Maybe in Ivory Coast.
Okay.
And in Kenya. Yeah.
In Kenya. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Well, Chef Kieran can connect with you. So in terms of in the restaurant, what role does storytelling play in terms of helping to get people to understand these new ingredients and then also engage with them?
So in our, let's say, in our restaurant, we have only 20 seats that people book sometimes 1 year in advance. So what we do is not just the meal. We tell a story about people behind. The good thing, like my team knows all farmers, and they have emotion. They have already a story for the farmers, that we tell a story from the farmers and to the table. And also when we talk about spices and we tell about anecdote about spices, where spices come from, and also why we use it also in the dish. And the people discover the taste and also discover the product that we do in the restaurant. It's like, let's say, when we talk about food is education and sharing, that's what we do exactly at the restaurant, like sharing and also educate at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. No, and I mean, if you do get the chance, I know some people have pre-booked from years gone by for this week, but if you do get a chance to go, that experience and that storytelling stays with you, and it also opens up your imagination. I think, and this is something I think you're doing, which is opening up people's imagination about what is possible, connecting the grandma with also the future.
Exactly.
And so, how, as you're continuing to do that, is there partners that are missing in this process?
So, what I want to mention that's very important, like we don't have a menu to the restaurant. Like we really serve what we have on the day. We focus more on what the earth gives to us. We serve 10 courses to 12 courses menu that we decide sometime last minute, depending on the product that we have. We are. Let's say what we do with my team is really to promote the African ingredients in the global level, and also really people that are traveling today for food. They're traveling from Copenhagen to Brazil. I remember when I grew up, people were talking about French cuisine, and after came Asian cuisine. Now people are talking about South American cuisine. I think the next will be Africa. That's why we are training and also promoting the ingredients we have.
And so when people think of African cuisine, what's your vision for what they will be thinking about?
Most of the time I talk about countries because we have a different ecosystem, we have a different products, and sometimes we have different let's say recipes. Just I can take an example from Nigeria. We have a lot of, more than 1,000 recipes that they use. And it's very different, like Chinese language and English languages. Really depends the place you want to go and the place you are. And here we are like in Rwanda, we are our cuisine focus more on vegetable because we have a lot of vegetable. Like we're talking about beans, and we see normal class or middle class. We find vegetable is the things that we eat and we have on the plate. That's I think what we do. Like depend on where we are exactly.
Yeah. And so I'm going to open it up if it's okay with you and see if there's a couple of questions.
Exactly.
Have we got a microphone, Lavender? So any questions? This is a chance to ask. Yes, we have a question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, speak up though.
Oh, sorry. Hi, Nani from CNFA. Thank you for your speech today. Do you have any tips for home chefs that are trying to get into some of these ingredients they're not so familiar with, but they sound very exciting? Like where to begin? Or any cookbooks or anything that you would recommend for someone that really wants to start with something they're so unfamiliar with?
So most of the time what I recommend is like to use local ingredients wherever we are. And we say like we all know how to cook. Like just trust on what product we have. The very important is like the product. Today we have a lot of, with social media we have a lot of recipes that we have. And also the very important that you use the product that you have in your, like not far from your place and make it magic with that. That's amazing.
And if you, any of the chefs that we've had today, follow them on Instagram and different platforms. They share recipes. There's lots of this content available. But also go to the restaurants, see what they're doing, test and taste. Any other questions? Yes.
I have a question. Hi, my name is Norma. I'm from U.S. Department of Agriculture based in Washington, D.C. Do you have a favorite vegetable and a favorite spice that you go to, like you lean on?
Yeah. So, not easy. So, but I like cassava. I like cassava leaves. Here in my country, in Brazzaville, we call it Ntoba. It's like my language. And in Rwanda, it's similar. They call it Isombe. I think that's what I like to eat most of the time. Yeah. And I eat ugali. So it's like that's what we have here in Rwanda most of the time, based by maize or like cassava.
Hello, my name is Maria Mohammed. I'm from Nigeria. I'm a chef in Nigeria. Well, we're also working on a project in Nigeria where we're trying to connect old ingredients. So we found out that a lot of ingredients from the past, you don't find them anymore because they're a bit like diluted with new stuff. And then we're trying to, get back to the grandmas and get those recipes, get those ingredients, learn how to cook them and all of that. But what we're trying to do is, how do we push that narrative? Like, how do you, push this ingredient? How do you make people know more about it? Because they are actually more nutritious than what we're eating now. And then how do you, become an advocate for that in your own place?
So you are doing the same work too here in Rwanda. I think what we do on our side to give innovation, like to create a recipe with the ingredients, and also to share with the world if we want to really promote the ingredients that we have, and also working on the marketing, how to market it. And I think before people was talking about the big brands, and how to promote it, like to think together how we can work and let's say an amazing marketing to promote all these ingredients. I think it's two things. The work on that, create a recipe, and number two is the marketing. I think it should work. Yeah.
Thank you. We've got to wrap, but we'll do one last question.
Thank you so much. It's a great honor to be here. I'm Chef Xavier. I'm Rwandan, and also I'm presenting a company which called the Magic Chef Limited. And I'm working here in this company, Linson Hotel, as a chef. So I have only two questions. First of all, I thank you to be here, and I thank you for always thinking about Africa to promote our African food. It's a great honor to hear that. Whenever I hear about you, whenever I hear about what you are doing in this our food, we don't know what we can do, but God may bless you.
Thank you.
As I said, I take you as my role model. So in my company also we are doing farming and catering. Soon we are starting home delivery. But I would like first to ask you, as a young entrepreneur, what can you advise us so that we may reach on your level? And my second question, I would like to ask you, which like general or common food, Rwandan food, are you trying to promote in Rwanda? Thank you.
So let's start with the food and promoting Rwanda. We are promoting more ingredients because ingredients is the base. And if you have good ingredients, you can do whatever you want. Like we are all artists, and we try really to promote the good product. That's why we focus more on farming. For advice to boost your company and with the work you're doing, the ambition is like, what I think sometimes like, okay, we have many companies who do, let's say, delivering of food. Okay, what I'm bringing in the table, and what the difference between another company and me. And I think after when you start asking this question, and we find your way,
yeah.
the very important is like the work, the taste, and also the presentation maybe, and the marketing again. Yeah, just ask this question and go, okay, what the different the other guys are doing and me. And if you find yourself, okay, this is the different that I'm doing, and I think that will be the base of your marketing. And start to market, start to promote what you're doing with another all world. Exactly. Super. Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Chef, for sharing your vision and being with us today. I know you're very busy. You've got a sold-out restaurant for the next Wednesday through to Sunday, I think. But thank you for coming and for all the work you're doing with your ingredients. We really appreciate it. So,
thanks so much.
Thank you. Well, look, it's been a great day. There's been lots of conversations, incredible food, a shared commitment to transform our food system. I want to send a big thank you to all our chefs, our panelists, and of course each of you for coming and joining us here in the Culinary Village. We also want to thank the team on the audio-visual. These guys have been helping us and supporting us. And also a really big thanks to the kitchen at the Radisson here. Chef Norman and his team have been a pleasure to work with and really made it possible for the chefs. So we're going to try and bring them up at some stage to say hello. Hopefully you're enjoying their food. And we hope that this has also inspired you a little bit to think about what's on your plate, to think about the ingredients that you're using, to think about the number of ingredients, and to increase how you can bring them in. If you're a chef or know chefs, talk to them about the Chef's Manifesto. Come and check us out at the Beans is How. And so a big thank you to everyone. We're excited to host you again tomorrow, so we'll be here from 12 to 2, and we've got another program really focused around the idea of acceleration. So we today talked a lot about innovation. Tomorrow we'll be talking about acceleration. So thank you very much, and we hope to see you tomorrow. Thank you.